Welcome to Cooking with Anand. Today is the 4th of July, so the entire day has been planned out with lots of yummies. So, this morning we're making breakfast cereal from scratch. And my parents right now are watching the Wimbledon match because that's going on right now. And so is FIFA, so good day. So first of all, last night I soaked some groats. You only have to soak them for about 2 or 3 hours. I just soaked them overnight. And I think it's really cool. This stuff has like the foamy stuff has like the consistency of an egg white Kalyza. And then this part has like the consistency of wet drippy corn syrup. It's weird. So here we go. And now we are going to head over to this thing and strain the groats from the water they've been soaking in. And there is really no nutritional value in the water that the groats are soaking in, so it doesn't really harm anything to throw it away. And it was 2 cups of groats that we soaked overnight. And look at it when it's coming down. Isn't that so cool? It's like thick. Okay, and so now we have to rinse them off because the groats need to be rinsed. And they kind of look like mini chocolate chips. It's weird. And make sure you know that the groats won't slip through the holes. These ones barely don't slip through the holes of the strainer. And just let the remaining water drip out. Now I'll get this bowl. Transfer these groats back. And the reason you soak them is so they're a little less hard. And I will get this now. And also, what you should do at this point is preheat your oven to 200 degrees and lay out a sheet of parchment paper. And I suck at ripping this, so don't judge me. I can do this. How about we come back when I'm done figuring this out? Okay, now that we got our parchment paper on and our groats are rinsed, we can start adding the other ingredients. But first, I wanted to show you where we got this at Vitamin Cottage. You can probably get it at Whole Foods. I mean, we have the 2 cups of it that were in this bag, plus however much is left, maybe half a cup. And it was only $2-3. So it's pretty good. And remember to get buckwheat groats. So now, and you want your groats to be as dry as possible, but they don't have to be. So now I'm adding in about 2/3 a cup of maple syrup. And you can go half and half with maple syrup and half 50% maple syrup, 50% stevia to sweeten it. But I don't own stevia, so I'm just going to sweeten it completely with maple syrup. And remember, stevia, 1/8 of a teaspoon of stevia replaces a 1/4 cup of maple syrup. It's really, really sweet. So I'll measure this out. And this also, you can't just do all stevia because the maple syrup gives it kind of a base. You can do all maple syrup like me though. That's good. And maybe a small little splash of the stuff we missed out on. And, oh, just scoopy. If I had a silicone spatula, I could get all that out. Okay, that's most of it. So now, I'm just going to stir it all up. And now, I'm going to start adding in my other stuff. So, I'm going to add in the cinnamon. And it's about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and I have this shaky thing, and so, okay, I'd say that's about 2 teaspoons, because that's a tablespoon measure, so, and then just a little bit of salt, not that much, maybe that much salt. So it can bring out the flavor of the cinnamon and the maple syrup. And also this maple syrup gives it a nice flavor. And it's not going to spike your blood sugar that early in the morning. And because there's the cinnamon in this throughout your entire day, because there's a lot of cinnamon in this, you won't have to worry too much of your blood sugar being spiked by sugary things, because the cinnamon helps regulate your blood sugar. So it's a nice thing to have in the morning. And the cinnamon's kind of mixed in with the maple syrup, and it's coated the buckwheat groats. And there's still a few clumps of cinnamon. And so now, I'm going to preheat my oven. See, that didn't really take too much time. So you should probably preheat your oven in the beginning. Let me see how. You kind of want it so that you don't want them to be like one row on top of another. You kind of want them to be spread out evenly. You don't have to be so picky about it, but you want it so that each buckwheat groat dries out. Oh yeah, and sometimes in the stores it just says buckwheat on the package, but whenever you're buying groats, any type of groats, always make sure it's in a clear package. If not, that means it's probably like powdered. And I'll continue spreading this out, and I'll be back. Now that I have my oven preheated, I'm going to put these groats that I spread out in there. And there are those maple syrup spots, but that's okay. Those will kind of just shrink back into the groats and dry out. And I already put that one in there. And I have it at a timer for an hour at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And I'll just see what happens in that time. And if it needs more time, it'll get more time. You can increase the temperature and decrease the time. Just be patient. Hello, we are going to do another recipe for breakfast and the 4th of July. The groats are in the oven right now, and they still have about 40 minutes left, so in the meanwhile, I'm going to make some hash browns. First, we have to start out with some potatoes. I have medium-sized red potatoes. You really just want to use the least starchiest potato you can find, because the starch makes it so it doesn't crisp up as well. So don't use like Yukons or Russets. So I'm going to do about 1.5 potatoes per person. If you have a larger potato, maybe 1 per person. And so I'm just going to get on peeling these, and I'll be right back. So I have peeled all of my potatoes, so all the skin is right here. And you don't have to be too nitpicky. I mean, we have a few holes in this, like those skins, but those are fine. It's all fine. And so I'll put these skins in the compost. So my next step is to grate the potatoes, and hash browns are fried grated potatoes, so that's why we're doing this. And I have my pan already on the stove. And once you get the end of the potato, you just kind of have to maneuver around. It's okay, the shreds don't have to be super long, so it's fine if you're getting little itty bitty stubs. And I'll just keep on doing this to all the potatoes. Bye.